weeks, I delivered her, and she got very sick. She was 8 pounds, 6 weeks old, and eventually she went code blue on my lap. I don't know if you've ever had a sick baby, but when a baby you didn't want can't breathe on your lap, it's very moving. She was put on a ventilator. They had to do a blood transfusion. They said, we don't know what's wrong with her. And what's a mom left to do is to cry out to her God, right? And I was trying to pump for her to give her some food. I couldn't even do that. And day 13, 14 days on a ventilator, she's fighting for her every breath. And I heard in my heart, Christa, your life is not your own, including your reproductive system. And I just said, yes, sir. Had no idea really what that would mean. And I'm very glad that Macy is here. So I wanted her to share, because since joining Young Living, first of all, Macy did the PowerPoint. We worked so hard. We had failure computer problems, and Macy came through. Macy runs all of my meetings. She does all the registration. She runs the meetings for me. I just show up and I get to talk. Macy went on an Ecuador mission trip, and I want you to tell them what it did for you. I want to add, during this season, we were really struggling with our home. And I'll tell a little bit about that, but we really had home problems, meaning the home that we've been living in for 15 years, we started to have to move and relocate. From silver to royal, we moved 8 times.
Wow.
So instead, we couldn't find a home. We decided we're going to go build a home for somebody else. And so Jason took 3 of the girls down there, and Macy was building a home for the family.
But I did go to Ecuador with my 2 sisters, one of them, actually 2 of them, Morgan and Marty. And it was very harsh conditions. We built the house from foundation up, so we put in all the bricks, all the plumbing, and we didn't have, what it did for me was, it made me happy. It made me happy that we were carrying 20-pound bricks down a rocky hill because they didn't have a street to their house. And it made me happy that we were sweating, and we had to share rubber gloves, which sweating and raining and humid is not fun with rubber gloves. And it made me satisfied that through my hardship, I could help someone who was living in a tin shed with their siblings, and it was really small. They had sewage in their backyard. They didn't have a backyard, it was basically a swamp. And so we built the house, and
that man took them. Thank you, Macy. You guys give her a hand. Make sure you give her a big hug. This is my second daughter, Mackenzie, and she helped me write my book, which is in the Life Science Publishing. In that book, I give my 7 secrets on how I grew my business through all of those obstacles. And this is Jason. How many of you know Jason? Do any of you really know Jason? Yonie does? Okay, well, he's this is when it all started. Like, we did everything. Lauren said that if we could just communicate. Well, I tried that, honey. Just do what I said. That wasn't working out. I don't know if you've tried that, but it doesn't quite work like I thought. And I had thought Jason was going to be my ever Prince and Charming, but I found that I was doing things a little backwards with Jason. And this is me on the left. I went to medical school early. I graduated top 10% of my class. Jason had a degree in advertising. And this is pretty much the last picture of my family, my brother on my right and my sister on my left, who is now struggling with cancer. and my brother committed suicide.
Oh.
And we were filing divorce. I served Jason divorce papers, and I literally walked down this aisle within my head, and I said, if it doesn't work out, I'll just divorce him. Because we had a lot of growing to do, a lot of learning to do. Because he was a butt. He was hard. He was very difficult. But how many of you know we attract who we are?
Yep. Yep.
So if you have a problem with your husband, I'm sorry to give you a memo, a mama. You don't need another motivational speaker. I'm a motivational spanker. So I'm sorry to say you got a problem, because when you point your finger at somebody, you got 3 coming back at you.
Yes.
So we thought about everything, and I don't think that's poop on this picture. But after all the moves that we did, we really lost pictures, I lost all of my ranking trophies, we lost a lot of things. But he did not want another child, he was done with 1. And I would argue with him about number 2. But when I learned some techniques, some skills, and I learned to surrender and trust the purposes and the hardships that are coming through my life, instead of fighting them and fighting him, and I allowed myself to surrender and walk in peace, I now have the most amazing husband of 24 years.
Woohoo!
That man is full of so much wisdom and so much insight and protection. I can't even begin to tell you. I could probably write a book on how much I was in Ecuador one time, and I was walking in, and I was at a retreat, and I got distracted, and I saw this wedding, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I was like, gonna walk in the wedding, and I was gonna peek through, and I was looking, and all of a sudden I was trying to get out, and this woman walks through, and I got this really cold chill, like, oops, I better step aside. She was very looking angry. And at that instant, my phone starts texting me, are you okay? Something's wrong. I was in a different country and could tell something was wrong with me. Very intuitive. And I put this picture up there because he looks like he's flipping me off. Because we still have trouble. We still don't get along. He is salt and I am pepper. Well, I want to be salt. He's pepper. I say black, he says white. We really disagree about absolutely everything. But I think it's funny because he's like, oh yeah, Christa, okay, are you happy now? This is his face. This is what he's saying to me. It's like, okay, can you let me out of this picture? He hates taking this picture. But he is such a hard worker. This is him on our farm. And so when Young Living came around, this is the size of my children. And Michael and Meg were born in the same year.
Oh, but not. Oh, they are not.
And I have a physiology degree, and my husband says he doesn't think I know anything about birth control. But I've been pregnant for 12 years of my life. And they're all average about 14 months apart. And I've had 2 in diapers for 22 years.
Wow.
And I've had 3
Thank you,
in
darling.
diapers for 12 years. Have you ever had 1 diapers?
Yeah.
So when Young Living came out, before Young Living, okay, so I'm having all these children. I don't have Young Living right now.
Oh, okay.
My body is falling apart. I have every symptom of fibromyalgia. I have chronic fatigue. I have hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism. I have joint pain.
Wow.
I have electromagnetic poisoning.
Huh?
I was so chronic fatigued that Jason bought me, I would stay in bed. I started a plan where I could leave my bed 1 day a week. Our date nights was me in a wheelchair while he would push me at Walmart. Because it was the only thing that was opened.
Okay.
Meg, the one on the left, who was born in the same year, this is when we got on food stamps, which is a state assistance. Jason had maxed out his income, and we were living off very, very little money. I was dumpster diving for food. Our clothing was so bad that I couldn't give it away. We would tear it up for toilet paper. I got to a place also where I was having dizzy spells. I was diagnosed with Meniere's, which talking, drinking coffee, eating chocolate would trigger a dizzy spell, and the room would start spinning, and I would vomit for an hour. And I lived like this for 3 years during pregnancy as well. I actually had them induce a baby because I was vomiting and I was dizzy, and I thought it would help, and it didn't. My blood pressure, I had high blood pressure. That was normal, 150 to 130. That's with medication. With medication. I would be bedridden for 3 months before I delivered and 3 months after I delivered. And I'm talking bedridden. I couldn't even hardly sit up because of blood pressure. The worst I ever saw it was 190 over 160. I went to the emergency room and they gave me an IV. And then I went back home and suffered until it would alleviate, because it does go away. This was our house that we lived in for 15 years, and the neighbors started to get angry and started to call the cops on my children for riding their bikes. So that lasted for about a year, and it's not illegal to ride your bikes, but it was obvious the neighborhood didn't have any other children. We were the only children in the entire neighborhood. How many know there's some neighborhoods that just don't like kids? I don't know if that's like that here, but in USA there is. There's some neighborhoods that just don't want kids in your neighborhood. And so I was trying to live a happy life, so I started dressing my kids alike. We were doing and we love boxes. We would play in boxes. This is a Young Living box. We recycle everything. We just make wagons out of it. I was bartering for activities. I would clean the ballet studio so my kids could take ballet lessons. But my kids say they had the happiest childhood ever. Because we were together, and they had a dad, and they had me in the same house. So I started to learn some training. I started to learn, so actually I tried like 5 other MLMs before Young Living. So when Young Living came around, I said, I am not doing Young Living, because I couldn't even hardly attend the trainings, let alone put one on. Look at my load. I had to feed them. I had the 2 or 3 in diapers. So what we did for fun is at Chick-fil-A, they let you dress up like a cow for 1 day of the year, and you get free food. Yeah, it's Chick-fil-A Day. And we always would mark it on our calendar, and July 7th, we'd all dress up like cows so we could go eat free food at Chick-fil-A. That was our vacation. And then I had Malachi. So I got started with the oils. Somebody dragged me to a meeting, and I said, will this help respiratory? Will it help dizzy? She said yes, and I said, I don't believe you. She said, it's okay, you don't have to believe me. I said, well, I want your address, because I'm going to come find you when it doesn't work, and I'm going to get my money back. That was me when I got started. So I was messing around with the oils, and I was getting some results, and then I had Malachi, who was he's our 12th baby, and I posted these on Facebook actually, and he's 2 months old, and he has a breathing ventilator. It's my second baby with a ventilator. And that's actually Macy. And we would walk in there, and we'd put oils all on ourselves, and then we'd walk into the hospital, and then we'd try to just hug on him and touch him, trying to get him to get some oils on him.
Oh, Senya.
So, when you have your second baby who's fighting for his life, and they tell you that we cannot help your baby, what are you going to do? You do all that you can do, right? So I oiled in a whole new way. And I found that I got to take my baby home. And it was after this life-changing thing that I heard God speak to my heart again. He said, go teach my people. Go teach them options. I was very medical. My dad does anesthesia, my mom was a nurse. That's all I knew. Yet, somehow, at the end of the day, they didn't have the answers for my baby. And here's Malachi.
Oh, so cute.
So I started teaching my Dr. Mom class, which I call Dr. Mom class. How many think, okay, this is smooth sailing, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
How many think that right now, all the things I just shared with you is hard? No? Yes? Yes. You think it's hard?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to ask you, what is a diamond? What's a real diamond?
Heart.
A real diamond is a gem who's been under intense pressure and intense flames and heat that no human can withstand, no drill can reach. The only way we get real diamonds is with a certain earthquake, volcano, pushes it out. I was under the fire.
Ooh.
The day after I taught my very first class, I fell down 3 flights of stairs and had to have emergency 7 screws and a plate put in my left ankle. I didn't think I would walk again. And I was pregnant 7 weeks. They tried to do an epidural and it failed. So I had a spinal headache. They wouldn't give me any medication. I screamed in the hospital for 3 days while my husband just sang over me. Because he had no other, they wouldn't give me medication because of the baby. They told me that the anesthesia would kill my baby, but it didn't. Her name is Miracle. This is her day 1 with those eyes. I am not kidding. I didn't believe it when I took this picture. So after Miracle was born, I have another surgery to get the metal out. After that first class, I went silver. So I started to get the attention of Young Living because I started sharing. I called my sister and said, you need to get started. She goes, what is it? I said, I don't know, but you just need to try it. So, okay. So I just shared. You know the most I've ever shared with anyone in 1 month, ever, is 3 people. As a Roker Diamond, I've only signed up personally 3 people in 1 month. Because I found that if I go and help other people get their check and help them learn how to use the products, I grew. So when Malachi was in the hospital, I was getting $600 a check, and I was like, what is this check? This is so weird. I just shared with a couple of people. And then when I did this other class, I went silver. I was a silver for a year. I still was not doing this as a business. I refused. I was like, there's no way. Because the way that we were doing business back then was we would go from 9 to 5 all day long. We'd have all these things going on, and I was like, I can't even hardly attend. I thought this was a funny picture because I had to write no on my foot that didn't have the screws in it. That's kind of gives you a little confidence there. This is me going, so I won a trip to the convention. I was a silver. I had 1 team member join me. And this is where I was like, whoa, they have all this red. And look at this transformation. That's my 1 team leader. I had 1 team leader. This is in 2012. And I met Gary. Actually, I had met Gary before that. He used to travel. And it was in a room like this. And I sat down right there in the middle. And Gary talked, and I was really wanting the juice. Like, come on, Gary, give me some good stuff. And he was talking about the farms. And I was not a farm person. I was like, really, Gary, come on. And he was crying. I wished I had paid more attention because I was moving and having children screaming at me, and I wasn't even about to go to the meeting. But then about a couple months afterwards, I meet Gary up here, and he goes around this table. Yonie says, and I didn't expect him. I would have stood up. I wasn't expecting him. He comes around. I said, oh, what's your name? And I said, Christa. He said, oh, where are you from? And I said, Oklahoma. And he said, you were at that meeting. I said, what? He recognized my face from the meeting that he had been doing from his traveling. That is just a small glimpse of who Gary was. I met Dr. Swally, and this was me. I got the silver retreat, and I actually canceled it. I canceled the silver retreat because of the chaos in my home. I think, I can't remember if I just had the surgery to remove my ankle, and I'm not pregnant, and I thought, there's no way I can leave my house. So I canceled the silver retreat. Jason called Young Living and reinstated it. You're going on that trip. I went, and I was completely overwhelmed with it. Who's been on a retreat with Young Living? You must get on a retreat to go to Young Living. I took a picture of this because I showed up early. They gave me a voucher and said, oh, you're early. Here, use this when you want to go eat something until everybody else shows up. I was overwhelmed. This is Gary and Joseph serving us, and Gary taking pictures with us, and then feeding us breakfast. And then this is the raft trip, the famous raft trip that Jared talks about. There's Jared there. Doesn't look anything like
Jared!
Oh! But Jared was in my boat,
Did you?
so I was talking to him, learning about all those languages and learning about. And there's Jared there. His book is fantastic, by the way. You really need to read his book. This is a picture. So I have Mira, the baby, down there after I broke my foot, and I'm pregnant with number 14. 14. And this is the only picture I have. I miscarried. I'm a silver. I miscarried. I also, during this season, this is our big van, and that is bird poop on that van. You can see it up there, it's bird poop. And I think all of my kids are under the age of 16. I can't remember, very close in age. So I write a perfect class this season. I have a little bit of a team, I have a silver, and I write a perfect class and I launch it, and I immediately promote to gold the next month after I do this class. And we move. And I would move into a foreclosed home. Foreclosed? No. A home that's going to be sold that they didn't pay. So the home is falling apart. The water's not working. Okay. Jason fixes the water well twice, and I deliver number 14 3 days later. This is number 14. This is at the house. 6 months later, I'm already now a platinum. I'm a platinum living in a foreclosed house with no water, delivering my 14th baby.
Wow.
As a platinum.
Woohoo!
This picture was in the Essential Edge. I now am a diamond. So I'm in this, which I thought that was so, Mary found out I went diamond. She's like, oh, we gotta put it in the newsletter. So they put it in the newsletter. That picture is in the backyard of the house that's in foreclosed, that went international as a diamond. We move into another house, and he says, you have a year, because we're trying to move out of our house to fix our old house to sell it. And so we move into another house, oh, you have a year. He's like, and then he said, oops, sorry, you don't. The owners come back and you need to leave. So we pack up again, and we have like one day, and then I fly out to, I am pregnant by this again. And we pack in one day, and I turn and leave on my diamond trip the very next day.
Wow.
My free diamond trip. And I still am homeless feeling, right? I go to Ecuador. This is my blood. and there's Joanne and Eric, and I'm pregnant, and I'm like, hey, let's see if Ed would work. And I think this is my platinum retreat. And I'm getting some IVs. I promote every 6 months. And the first thing I see Gary up here on stage, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get to talk to Gary. I'm gonna talk to Gary. I can tell him about Malachi's story, which I did booty bombs. And so I go up to Gary and I was like, Gary, I do enemas. That's exactly what I said. And I got nervous, and I thought, and then I looked at Mary and I said, Mary, I do arranged marriages. I am not kidding. That's exactly what I said. And I was just kidding. I was like, I'm just kidding, Mary, just kidding. So I'm promoting. We're going to these diamond retreats, and we're going to France. We just moved our family in one day, and there I am pregnant in France with Jason. We start taking the kids to convention. We make this a family affair. I fly with 9 kids, and Jason drove to convention. And I'm speaking at convention, and getting to go see Australia as a Royal Crown Diamond. I deliver her the same month I went royal.
Wow. Beranak
She's
kan?
my 50th
Bonawi.
baby, born in 2015, and we make royal the same month I deliver her.
Sama lah macam
And when I say I take family priority, I would take all 3 months before the baby and after the baby, and my business grew. Why? Why does it grow? How can that be? How does it do that? Because when you invest into just one person, that person knows 2,000 people. And I would invest really hard in that one person. And then I would go have my baby. And they would say, oh, don't bother Christa, she's having a baby. So guess what happened? My leaders rose up. They had no choice. They would rise up when I would get myself out of the way. This is Mallory. This is us going on my first cruise with Young Living.
Ah.
And this is my sweet husband, and this is us in Canada. So Jason has this idea. So we can't find a home still. We finally find a rental that will rent to us. Most people won't rent to people of 17 people. So he's like, let's get an RV. I'm like, you are crazy. Big RV. You know what RVs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm driving around, he's asking me for 2 years, and I think, okay, we can't find a home, finally, maybe we could do an RV. I find an RV that it's this big bus, and on the end has this like deck, and I just go, oh my gosh, it's a playpen. It's a porch, but I'm like, it's a playpen, right? Hey, but the kids out there, and it's a big playpen. I can do that. So he goes and finds us an RV, and we go RVing.
Wow. Ooh.
This is how we travel to convention now. We call it our caravan. We go for about 2 months. I drive this small rig. That's this guy here is our washer and dryer.
Wow.
It carries a washer and dryer. Mackenzie, my oldest daughter at home, drives that car with that, and that has all of our stuff, like a walk-in closet. It actually has some bikes. And it does have Jason's motorcycle, so we can ride the motorcycle. And then Jason drives this big thing right here with a car on the end. And we would park like this and dry camp all the way to Utah. And it's only like, I don't know, it's a 17-hour drive. Well, it takes us 5 days. It takes us a long time
Wow.
to get there. So this is us RVing. We're in the RV world. And we like to eat on the porch because it doesn't be easy to clean. So we're going to convention. I take the kids to convention. And my kids, when they couldn't, before Young Living came, I got to the end myself and I said, I don't understand what this is all about. I did everything right. I have my degree. I'm trying to stay married. I'm working really hard on myself. And I I just got to this place of really desperation, and I said, and I sat the kids around the table, and in my book I talk about it, I call it the Jericho Wall. But I sat the kids down on the table and I said, let's ask God for anything. And they were like, anything? And I said, yes, anything. I had done everything. I had tried everything. I was captain of my basketball team. I was captain of drill team and cheerleading. I had excelled the top 10% of my school. I got into medical school early. I did everything that I thought on how to get there. But at the end of the day, our finances were not meeting up. We weren't able to pay for our bills, or our food, we were able to pay for food and our bills, but not anything. No haircuts, no birthdays. And I said, I really want someone to teach me how to fish. People were very generous. They would give us money. They would buy the kids presents for Christmas or their birthdays. And I said, I don't want your money. I want to know how to make money. Someone please teach me. I started to learn that 95% of all communication is nonverbal. So if I was focused on rank and IPAs and who was going to be my crown diamond leg and who was going to be my whoever ha-ha person, then they would feel that off of my nonverbal communication. So I had to learn to go, I'm here to serve. I am here to serve you just like right now. Because I know that you are important. I know that something amazing. Because God doesn't take me out of my home and leave my precious family, fly me 37 hours away, have my face puff up, have computers shut down for me to come share with you for no reason. I'm expecting something amazing coming out from me. And I don't want to hear any more excuses. I really hope that my life can be some sort of example that whatever you're facing, someone has got it worse. Yes. And that maybe instead of looking at a person or a thing, understanding that it is a signal that you're lacking a skill, you're lacking a tool, you're lacking some knowledge, or you're lacking some wisdom, you're lacking a connection to help you get to that next level. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we take the kids to convention. There's Joseph dancing with Mira. And we take them to the warehouse to go see Lawrence Elder. And we go to the rodeo. We always linger after convention to go to the work. My daughters are, running in the foundation. We linger around Heber, which is just 30 minutes, 40 minutes around. This is us at the trolley. We are staying at the RV spot, and we would get on the trolley and go up to the convention. And but when I sat down and asked the kids, so what do you want? They're like, we want Disneyland. Of course, that's everyone's dream, right?
Yes.
So when Royal came around and the RVs came around, we did Disneyland. But we had the faith to ask for that 4 or 5 years ago, before Young Living even came around. And God used Young Living to answer the desires of my heart and my children's heart. And this is us at Disneyland. Do the math, dude. You gotta get there. You gotta get inside. You gotta eat.
Yes.
And you gotta buy something, and you gotta get home. 17 people, plus we had a nanny, so it's 18. That was the only time I had a nanny, by the way. I did my life with no cleaning lady. I have no maid. I have no cleaning lady. Okay, so I wanted to show you this because we took up the entire ride. We do have one family friends on there, but I wanted to show you, this is Jason. Look at him, look at that. It's hilarious.
He's able to capture this moment on camera.
And then we went to Alligator Land in Florida while we were there. We got to sit on an alligator, and we went to Discovery Cove, which is the best place in the entire world. And we've enjoyed traveling. And taking moments where I make my kids jump, and this is us cooking. This was just done recently, and this is me in our backyard. We just moved to Texas, and we've been there for a year, and it still is a small house. It's a long story, but we are in a small house, and it's about 1,900 square feet. As a royal, I live in a little bitty house, but it's awesome. And I just recently, this is us making food, and I homeschool, and I put everything on my brain on the whiteboard. And my husband and I love to go bike riding, and this is because he's an adventurous guy. And we take the bike to convention, and there's a reason he's making me drive in front, because when he drives, I tend to get a little, handsy. I try to get a little, because men only need two things. They need food, and they need intimate fellowshipping. and he just is really cute now. He's like my best friend, and he makes me drive. So this is us together. None of these kids would exist if I had gotten what I wanted. If I had gotten my way and not surrendered my life and realized that I was the one that needed to be worked on, realized that I was the butt, and I needed to have some communication tools. And I wanted to leave, wanted to quote Gary. I made this, I was teaching this to my team, but if you write the word Gary out, or just G-A-R-Y, G, this stands for grit and grateful. Gary had more grit than anyone I knew. And if he has more grit, then shouldn't I? Shouldn't you? Shouldn't you be grateful? Gary was in more pain in almost every single times that he spoke. And when he was told he had 6 months to live, he went on a dog sled. Which in Alaska, we went on a tour on a dog sled, and that ain't no joke. That's a serious adventure. And if you're in trouble on those adventures, you have a broken leg, they won't help you. They'll help the dogs. The dogs have problems. They'll come and help you with the dogs, but they will not help you. So grit and grateful. A, for Gary, is he asked questions. You need to ask questions. A lot of times, you and your spouse or your team member that you're hitting heads with, you're not asking the right questions because you don't care. Because you look at them as some sort of project to meet your needs. Come on, just work already. Well, aren't you going to provide? Why don't you go to work? Why don't you get another job? Why don't you get another job? You're not asking the right, it's all about you. Gary took action. He took action. He asked questions and he took action. R, he was respectful. And he was resilient. So this is our founder of our company. I would think that it would give him great honor if we took on his principles in his life that he exemplified for us. Why? Because he said yes. He said yes to the impossibles. He just kept moving, and he yielded to a higher power. Gary loved being with God. He said, no matter what your religious learnings, your values are, what guides your choices, the principles that set you as a guidepost on your journey, determine how you interact with your family, your friends, and your clients. They impact how you see vision, either harmony with others and integrity with yourself, or out of it. That was something Gary said. He had great faith. This is through Jared's book. He demonstrated great faith through his ability to forgive and to recognize his own need for forgiveness. He had a very colorful and unusual past, which is one of the things that drew people to him. We all have our own imperfections and colorful histories, but somehow they shape who we are and how we live our lives. I'm only here because I made babies.